But speaking of Johnny Depp.
Oh, yeah.
But speaking of Johnny Depp, Amber Heard keeps copying Johnny Depp's courtroom outfits. Why? Is it tactical?
Huh.
This was very creepy. I didn't notice how much she was copying them until Mary showed me the photos.
The bumblebee pin on the tie is the most
weird.
egregious example. She's totally doing this on purpose.
Okay, so it says every little detail of the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial, a defamation trial. By the way, yesterday I saw a thing that was talking about defamation and libel. Is it a libel? It's a libel because she wrote the article, right?
Yeah, I believe libel is written.
Okay, so I didn't make a mistake on that because
I think so.
I was doing the copy editing.
There's a difference between libel and slander.
Yeah.
Let me double
Libel's
check.
written.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
It says on the first day of the trial, April 11th, Depp was seen wearing a Gucci tie, which had a bumblebee on it. And then 2 days later, April 13th, Heard sported. It looks like the exact same. They said very similar, but
here's the
very similar tie,
screen
which
here.
also had a bee pin on it.
What would be the purpose of this?
So they
just like
Manipulation.
like
yeah.
like she's that crazy. I feel like she'll just.
well this was connects to the BPD and the
She's-
HPD.
That's I mean,
yes. Yeah.
So it says, why is Amber Heard copying his outfits? It says, if Heard is doing this on purpose, then you have to wonder why. It must be tactical, but it's hard to see where the benefit lies. I mean, I could see it as throwing him off. His job right now is to sound very endearing and very personable on testimony, which he's doing a fantastic job of.
reliable,
And also,
yeah.
to be completely honest, if I'm being completely honest, him being that good on the stand makes me very suspicious of him because
He's a good actor.
We
know this.
I would argue that he would be better at faking it on the stand than she would because she's not nearly the actor that he is.
Exactly.
So
she hasn't testified
no,
yet.
and I'm not. And obviously, the stuff that she's done to him is there's more than enough evidence that that's true. But my inherent distrust of celebrity is automatically piqued when somebody sounds too good to be true on the stand, and people are eating it up. People are loving Johnny Depp right now. So it says. Perhaps she knows Depp so well that she's confident such a stunt will unsettle him, which we know that she clearly does know him that well.
Yeah.
I want to go to the article that talks about the two diagnoses that she received, and in no way are we shaming anybody with these conditions. That's not the point of this. The point is to draw greater context to what is
why she's doing what she's doing.
why she's behaving the way she is.
Right.
So a clinical psychologist was hired to review Amber Heard and Johnny Depp's turbulent relationship, told jurors the actress suffers from 2 personality disorders and grossly exaggerated her PTSD after the couple split. Depp's legal team called expert Shannon Curry to the stand on Tuesday in the Hollywood Star's highly publicized defamation trial against his ex-wife. So it says the clinical and forensic psychologist told the court that she concluded that Heard had traits consistent with borderline personality disorder and histrionic personality disorder, 2 conditions found in people with patterns of emotional instability and attention-seeking behavior. I would say that you could probably find a lot of actors with the attention-seeking behavior part of that.
Sure.
I mean, that's and if anybody hasn't done any type of acting or even something like what we're doing here, it takes a certain personality type to be able to be that vulnerable in front of a camera. And a lot of times you read the articles where they're like, from a young age, they knew what they wanted to do. They wanted to act in plays. They were the center of attention in a room. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just, it seems that it goes a long way.
It's rare. Yeah. Well, everyone has attention-seeking behavior. That's just like humanity.
Yes.
But it says that she faked having PTSD in their relationship, which is like, you're just taking that to an extreme.
And remember, she's a spokesperson for spousal abuse, right? For an organization that deals with victims of domestic abuse.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So it says borderline personality disorder, also known as emotional unstable personality disorder, is a disorder of mood, of how a person interacts with others. Most commonly recognized personality disorder. It's the most common of these personality disorders. It says in general, someone with a personality disorder will differ slightly from an average person in terms of how he or she thinks, perceives, feels, or relates to others. Me and Mary talked about this earlier because I was like, I mean, how do you know what they perceive? I guess they would have to intimate to you what that is. But it says people with BPD are often uncertain about their identity and therefore tend to change interests and values rapidly. They also tend to view things in extremes and are known to change their feelings towards people very quickly, which is always something that kind of rang true to me, that people, it's always weird to me when people have very quick shifts in how they view somebody, because it takes at least for me, it takes a long time to change my opinion on something, especially in related to people that I know, because I'm taking all of my past experience with them, to add up to how I judge that relationship.
Yeah.
It says-
HPD seems more fitting for her.
Histrionic, yes.
Yeah.
So it says, BPD is characterized by abandonment in childhood or adolescence, disruptive family life, poor communication with family, sexual, physical, or emotional abuse. HPD is, it says, histrionic personality disorder is a dramatic personality disorder. People with HPD have an overwhelming desire for attention and often exhibit dramatic behavior in order to be noticed.
Like pooping a bed?
Yeah, that sounds
such
right.
as that.
Yeah.
Or
That's
they also
one example. Yeah.
Perhaps. I'm just
Just
putting things out there.
pitching things. Yeah.
they also might have rapid shifting emotions, be excessively sensitive to criticism, and have difficulty maintaining relationships. There was a point in here later on where her friend, they were out shopping for Thanksgiving, for like stuff for Thanksgiving, and like she just slapped her friend.
What?
We'll get to it. So it
And
says,
check the causes for this.
yeah. So it says HPD is more common in women than men. There's genetic causes, lack of criticism or punishment as a child.
Yes.
So that's going to
spoiled
be
person. That's a spoiled person.
possessive reinforcement for specific
Positive.
behavior. Oh, did I say possessive?
Yeah.
Positive reinforcement for specific behavior. Unpredictable attention given to child by parent. So what do they mean by unpredictable? Meaning like irregular?
Yeah. So if you give a kid positive attention when they do something positive and negative attention when they do something negative, or if they get no attention at all unless they do something negative, they can get either positive or negative attention for that. Like if your parents laugh at you if you do something bad, it's just like really mixed signals for your kid.
I'm also thinking back to the shoe removal incident. That
so
was
weird.
The shoe removal incident?
Mary, do you how to best describe it? Basically, he
So when he came home from work, she made this whole ritual of the fact that she had to give him a glass of wine and take off his boots for him. And if he took off his boots, she would be like furious.
What?
So weird, right?
Because it's the ritual isn't about him. It is about her.
it's not about making him feel comfortable now that he's home. It's about
And it's
her
also-
being the one to do that.
It's about controlling his emotional state.
yes.
It
It's very
has
much
to be
about
dependent
control.
on what she does.
So it says who wore a cream-colored blazer and styled her hair in a crown braid, sat quietly alongside her legal team during Curry's testimony. She did not look up as the doctor confirmed her diagnosis, but appeared to shift uncomfortably in her seat. And to be honest, who wouldn't be that uncomfortable as you're being kind of taken apart
And roasted.
on the stand
Biggest
there?
For real.
weaknesses,
Yeah.
televised.
Like I'm one of those people. Like I think like Mary kind of gives me crap that I'm too like. I want to give people the benefit of the doubt, and it's very easy for me since I'm not Johnny Depp and did not have to go through what he went through, and it's like I want to give her the benefit. I'm like that sucks that she feels crappy, but then I think back to her saying like yes. Where she like taunted him for saying that he was a victim of domestic abuse, mind you, as she is somebody who is supposedly a champion for those who have been victims of domestic abuse.
Clearly, no one is all good or all bad. And even one of the symptoms of BPD is seeing things in black and white like that and turning on people, seeing them as all good or all bad. And, if she has either of these disorders or both or whatever, it's because she had formative experiences that caused that to happen. That doesn't absolve her of accountability, though.
No, it does not.
Exactly.
Thank God he got the receipts, though.
Yep.
Had he not, this would
So-
be a completely different trial.
So, well, yeah, that's the scariest part. Not to mention, like, he's just trying to like win, like. I don't think he cares about the money. I think he wants his name cleared.
Yeah.
And he wants to be able to work again without the stigma of being a spousal abuser. And to be honest, I think that the tide has turned on that. I think in general, the public sentiment is that he was clearly the victim or the more of the victim in this case than she
terrible
was.
people.
It says the
But he'll
court
never be America's sweetheart again.
No. The court heard two instances from Heard's medical notes which illustrated her condition. Firstly, she admitted she'd cut her arm in the past, which was a typical thing that somebody with BPD does. Heard's former friend, Rocky Pennington, told her how she once was out shopping for Thanksgiving items and Heard struck her in the face out of the blue. Curry said that would happen if Heard decided Pennington wasn't meeting her needs and lashed out, which is very childlike behavior. It says, when asked about whether or not Heard had PTSD as a result of a relationship with Depp, Depp, Curry said no. In fact, Heard was grossly exaggerating symptoms of PTSD and claimed to have 19 out of the 20 lists of conditions. So this is one of the things. This disgusts me. Like, in an age where we as a country have worked to self-correct many poor instances of our behavior, whether it's as a culture, as businesses, and she's preying on the goodwill of people that do want to do better, as they say, and do want to see the world change. She's using that for her own gain, and that type of manipulation is becoming more and more common.
Every time somebody does something like this, it infuriates me because I know there are people out there who have actually suffered, and these people are going to get short shrift because of this kind of histrionic.
It makes people questioning, like, and like somebody like me who is not who does not like to have the hottest take, like, is like feels guilty for having questions,
right?
But that's the world we live in now,
right,
where you have to at least ask them. Otherwise, he would still be a disgraced he's still a disgraced actor by public standards, but he would not, if nobody asked these questions, if he didn't fight back, we would be wondering, like, we just like, oh, remember Johnny Depp? Oh yeah, I loved him in Sweeney Todd, but didn't he beat the crap out of that woman?
Right.
And that's all that people would remember.
Yeah.
Right.
What's hilarious is like he has like the most cartoonish recordings of like an evil ex that I've ever heard.
Yeah, insanity.
She's basically like,
Yeah, I smacked ya, but who's gonna believe ya?
Basically.
and then she's
It
just
almost
like,
sounds fake, but
Yeah.
it's real.
If I had a mustache, I'd twirl it.
Exactly.
it's cartoonish. That's what I'm saying.
They both recorded each other at different points.
And to me, like that, the incident in the bed, the part about
The
her.
incident.
Gross.
When she herded the bed.
It's like she is kind of the definition of the hot crazy scale.
For real.
It's kind of baffling to me.
She's the 10, Megan's the 9.
I mean, Megan. If Megan wants my blood, she'll do it by asking.
Megan isn't crazy. She just wants people to think that she's crazy.
Is that
Which
that
is a
more-
form of delusion.
Yeah, it's like a personality, they think, though.
This is this other article from the 26th says, I did not identify Amber as a victim of domestic violence. An LAPD officer who called to Amber Heard in Johnny Depp's penthouse after the fight testifies seeing no injuries on the actress. We haven't even mentioned today the Milani makeup incident, getting caught saying that she had to use their makeup compact to cover her bruises, and then finding out that the compact did not
Didn't
exist
exist.
yet. That
Even if her point was that she was using a product that is exactly the same purpose, you shouldn't have said that it was exactly the one you were holding up in court.
So it says, Melissa Sands appeared via pre-taped video deposition on Tuesday. She was asked about the visit to the penthouse. This was back in 2016. It says, she said, Sands said, I did not identify her as a victim of domestic violence, adding that she did not see any evidence of a crime, including broken glass or a mess in the penthouse. The officer said the redness on Heard's cheek was consistent with her crying and being flushed. So it's terrifying to me just how many things can be obfuscated and made to make. It's really all just narrative driven, right? It's like, who's the best storyteller in this situation?
Yeah.
And she was a fantastic storyteller. In that op-ed, which is like peak like emotional abuse of someone, if that didn't happen, and she literally did it as a form of character assassination, but was smart enough to not include a name, even though everyone would know who you're talking about. Right. So it says it was the last argument between Depp and Heard before she filed for divorce and a restraining order, which she did a week later. So that's likely calculated too. You use that incident as your catalyst, and then the article gets written, and it's all done on a very concise timeline, all to make him look awful.
She strikes me as so manipulative.
Yes. So I don't know where to go from something like this, because it kind of boggles my mind that we covered this. We covered, there was another thing today about Black China was apparently like Corey Gamble testified that he saw her hit Rob Kardashian. And it's just like these things happen, and it's like nobody cares. Like, people care about Johnny Depp because he's Johnny Depp. But if you're Joe Schmo and this happens, nobody gives a crap. Like,
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
May I ask? I just want to ask a question. Like, what do you think? There's this like propensity of like these like incredibly like hyper violent relationships amongst actors in particular,
Against actors
or entertainers.
yeah.
It seems like when they date each other.
I mean, I don't know if it's I don't know
It's
how
weird because
prevalent it is.
sometimes they do have perfectly normal and healthy relationships.
if you ever want to if you look at like TV level, like TV actors who are more, it's more like a journeyman, they're working all the time. They're much like they'll be in a marriage for 15, 20 years and it's completely normal because they have they work long hours, but they're busy. They're busy. They're working their life. Whereas a celebrity who makes movies and makes hundreds of millions of dollars, works for 6 months, has more free time. Like one is Chris O'Donnell, who was very much doing film earlier in his career, said that he went and did television because he lived in Los Angeles, he worked in Los Angeles, it allowed him to spend more time with his family.
Right.
If you're family oriented, you'll make family a priority, but this isn't about making family a priority. It's almost like two people indulging in narcissism and it just blows up in their faces together.
But it's not just them. Like, just think of this year. Like, what have been the news stories? Them two.
Yep.
We just got over talking Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly, and while they seem amicable, they're doing like wild stuff together.
Weird,
it
yeah.
seems not wild.
It
but
doesn't
weird.
seem sustainable to me.
Yeah.
And what was the news story before that? Jada Pinkett and Will Smith. Like, what is it about like two entertainers just like being at each other's throats?
Yep.
Well, I think it's partly an artist thing. They're very self-focused and they're very self-centered, and I think this turns them into the narcissists that we see now. And I did want to point out with the Jada Smith thing and with the Amber Heard thing, this to me looks like classic toxic femininity, which is something that we never talk
Okay,
I
about.
can
brought
we
this up
agree
yesterday.
on what this means? Because some people are saying that toxic femininity means like women who perpetuate stereotypes that women can only thrive in traditionally feminine
No,
environments.
that's not how
they
I
have
would
to go
define
back
it.
to the kitchen, whatever, blah blah blah. That's like toxic femininity,
That's what they used to
according
call
to some.
misogyny.
But well, yeah, but then nothing can be a problem if it's not perpetuated primarily by men, right?
Then how do you define it? Because I tried to do this yesterday, and that's like they brought up the.
But I think that really it's just like women encroaching upon, like invading emotional spaces that they did not belong in.
Interesting.
I have a definition too.
What's that? What'd
No,
call
you
it?
first, please.
I was gonna say I would just call it severe manipulation, controlling feature, like Jada Pinkett Smith talking about her birthday party that Will Smith had all planned out for her. She's acting like a spoiled child. Amber Heard is very much acting like a spoiled child, and they're using these very specific, like dressing in a certain way to try to intimidate and manipulate. And to me, that's toxic in ways that men would not be.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just add to your definition, it's individuals or women that use like historic, like shortcomings that women have had to society as a veil to hide their like deeply selfish intentions. It's like they've used like the women's suffrage and like the strife women have had through generations,
Like Amber
as a
Heard.
veil to hide their
Yeah.
own psychopathy.
Yeah,
Mm.
maybe so.
Using it as a weapon, using the social inclination that we as a society have to protect women as a vehicle for their
Correct.
own. Yeah. I don't, and that's because that's to the average person, to a mentally healthy person, that's an unthinkable thing to do.
It's very devious. It's very sneaky. And I've never liked the way that women fight. I really like that men get out there and they'll get in your face and they'll push you around and you know where you stand with them. This is why guys' relationships are a little bit more easy to
But
understand.
at this point, like we've forced everyone to fight like girls.
Yeah, I was
Yes.
yep.
Social media
and
has,
it's
Right.
changing the
yeah.
way that we talk to each
Right.
other.
not
and men
good.
have been feminized. Social media has feminized our discourse.
Yeah.
And how these things are done. What's the memes always like? Guys lie to each other's face and insult each other, and women lie to each other's face and tell them and give them compliments.
Right,
It's like
yeah.
a woman says, "Oh my God, you look so
You look
beautiful." It's
so
like, "I do,"
great.
and then a guy will be like, "Dude, am I fat?" He's like, "Dude, I know 5 fat people.
And
You're 4 of them."
Yeah.
So it's like there's an
Yes,
inherent
Tess
difference.
Munster, you are anorexic.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's so anorexic. Yeah.
There's no way if me and Brett got into a beef, there's no way we could fight in today's day and age. Like it'd be like
Right.
you're both fired like instantly, get out of here, or you're like soon.
But you
But-
could try, but you'd feel like fish out of water doing it.
No, but like I
You
don't.
might not be
And
fired
that's not
here.
deemed acceptable.
But Dane can
Yeah.
tell me I'm ugly all day, and I just have to take it.
You're beautiful, okay?
Clip that. We're putting that.
Right.
We're
I
putting
bet
that.
you guys could have a
will.
friendly fist fight.
Yeah, I
and
feel like you
be
could.
Fine.
At least here.
They're trying to get us to fight now.
That would be
Dane-
entertaining.
Dane's like
yeah.
a foot taller than me. There's weight classes for a reason,
Come on, you
people.
can get low and duck. And it'd
Okay,
be
yeah,
good,
he's got the reach, but I got the speed.
That's
okay,
right.
perfect. So Well, I don't know where to go from this. I just think I do believe that there's I talked yesterday about I do believe that we're in the middle of a pendulum shift, a pendulum swinging the other way in culture, and perhaps this is one of those examples where in 10 years, if enough of these cases come about, if enough people worth $500 million like Johnny Depp have the money to fight this type of thing, it's going to have to be rich people, because Joe Schmo 32, who works as a janitor at some office building, isn't going to have the money to fight back when the woman in his life does this to him. It's got to be the Johnny Depps of the world.
Yep.
The thing is, like, even if more of these situations arrive, what it's the other way around, when it's a man abusing a woman, like, I don't know why, it just makes me infinitely more angry. And like, if I see any imagery around it, it just feels infinitely more gruesome. So,
I think it's just because men have the power to physically kill women,
right.
and women don't.
Yeah, they have the physical upper hand.
But they have the
physical
power
upper
to like completely ostracize us,
Yeah,
like from
you're
society.
right.
It's the definition of cancel culture. They don't want to hurt you physically. They want you to do it to yourself.
Right, they just don't want you to be able to do anything.
Yeah, they don't want you to have like when Louis C.K. comes back, they're like, wasn't he supposed to just off himself, because that's what you're supposed to do when you cross the mob, and that type of pack mentality is very Mean Girl. It's very Lindsay Lohan.
Everything is so underhanded.
Yeah, I don't like it.
That's the society we live in now. So you have to be like it.
But then you're not even, if you're a woman, you're not even allowed to be a woman. You have to be this neutered, like,
Man
automaton.
wannabe. So interesting.
Yep. We are in a very weird time in culture where everybody's natural impulses are demonized.
like just suppressed. Actually.
Yes,
Yeah,
you're
even
not.
children. Yeah,
It's a weird form of like it's Puritanism in a lot of ways. Like the comic version of that I was talking about is like, you're not allowed to draw attractive women in comics anymore because men read comics.
dare they?
That's
How
like,
dare
you
they?
can, like, women can do it if it was for something that women read, but guys are not allowed to do that if it's something guys read, because modern day identity politics is the new Puritanism.
Women can draw women, but only if they're really ugly.
Yes, well, yeah,
So weird to
and
me.
they can't look like, they have to look like weird
They have
cardboard.
to look like men.
Yes,
And that's
so
what's insane.
strange.
So like a superhero,
because patriarchy.
Yeah. What?
a male superhero is portrayed as being like very strong, very very elegant, because if you're doing a lot of physical activity, your body tends to be like a similar type. However, we completely have to ignore that when it comes to like the opposite sex.
Well, also because men, there's an inherent difference there in how men and women see these things. Men see Clark Kent or Batman as something to aspire to. Women see it. I'm generalizing here. I don't mean to say not all women.
Not all women.
See it as that you're insulting them by saying that they could look because they don't look like that, because of the idea of unrealistic beauty standards. So Superman can have a 12-pack, and guys are like, yeah, I want a
totally
freaking
do that.
12-pack.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't do it, but they're going to go to the gym and try. The average woman who reads something like that, I don't mean to generalize, is going to look at it and say, most women, I'm sure, are like, oh, cool, that's beautiful. She looks beautiful. But there's that small subsect of people who have a loud voice and a long reach in culture who say, that's unrealistic body standards. Where are her organs? That's
That's fair. But I think that women tend to be so much more insecure, and that's a problem. That's an us problem.
Yeah.
Like, that's something that we could and should be handling ourselves. Like, if you don't like the way the society represents women, maybe don't read the magazines. Maybe do your own thing. Get in shape yourself. Have kids. Raise a family. Do other important things.
shouldn't be reading Teen Vogue anyways.
Exactly.
Or
What are we doing?
try writing a compelling character that is a female that like has some certain personality traits that are uniquely her own and not normally interpreted for females. Why don't you try that route? Why does everyone want to steal
Crazy.
everyone else's art and no one has the courage to say like the story that they want to make? They just want to steal everyone's.
Because people like that don't know how to create. They only know
Creating
how to
is
destroy.
something, and criticizing is nothing.
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.